Welcome everybody to another Understanding OddAlerts video. This video I'm going to talk about quick filters, going to give a general overview into quick filters, how I personally use it. I've mentioned quick filters in previous videos, but they were more release videos where a feature was added, and I've kind of just brushed over the whole thing and tried to get through it quickly. But this one's going to be a bit of a deeper dive, as I say, into why I use it, why it was so important to build it on top of the original filters. So the original filters were more about back testing and putting a group of filter rules together and then seeing how that filter has performed up until this day. Whereas quick filters for me is more about creating short lists of games quickly that I can then go through, because as I record this, it's a Saturday. There's tons of games today, and just going through them all, if you were to look at all of the games, filter by upcoming here, for instance, there's just a lot of games that you would have to go through and check, and the stat scrollers do make it easier to find games at a glance. But what the quick filters allow you to do is just narrow down, and I think with quick filters it's good to have a market in mind. So for example, let's look and let's try and find, before opening and doing any settings, let's know that we're going to be trying to find strong home teams here. So this is what it looks like when you go to create a quick filter. You've got the add rule button, and you've got your rule list. Now we've not added any rules, so it's saying that there's 0 out of unlimited. Unlimited because I'm a pro user. Now let's add a setting. And a bit of advice that I always give is the first setting I always try and add is that the teams have played a decent number of games, because you want a decent sample size for whatever stats you're going to be adding in here and whatever rules. So let's say you want to find teams that have won over 60% of home games. Well, if you don't put in this matches played parameter, then you might be filtering for 60% of 3 home games, which, if they've won 2 out of 3, it's going to be over 60%, but do you really want to see them? It's so early in the season. So what I'm going to do is put that the teams have played 11 games each. And when you're looking at overall stats, you'll notice that you get a new button and you can save for both teams when filtering for overall stats. So we're going to add this, and then you see that your rule list is updated. Now, we're filtering for strong home teams, so the first thing I'm going to look at is this points per game. Now, before I go into that, I'll just explain these top sections, these tabs. We have the home team, we've got the away team, and probability stats and odds, so you can filter for odds, which we'll do in a moment as well. So for this stat, we want to be looking at the home team, and we want to be looking at points per game. That's what I'm going to add as a base, as a sort of foundational rule in this quick filter. So we're looking at the points per game at home, because they might be terrible away from home, but we're only concerned with a home victory with regards to this quick filter. So let's look at all teams, and this is going to show us games that are being played today, where the home team, because we've selected home team up here, has 2 or more points per game at home this season, and we already know that they've played more than 11 games overall, or 11 games. So we save this rule and we can just search, and it'll bring up the games that match your rules, and you can see that we've got a home team that's currently winning here at the moment, and it'll order them by kickoff time by default. That's how the quick filter works by default, but I'll show you the sorting ability in a moment. So now you've got, instead of looking through all of the live fixtures or looking through all of the fixtures by country or however you would do it, you've now got a list of fixtures where the home team has performed above average, 2 points per game, and you can start to look through and see which games you fancy, and this is where the stat scrollers become more effective. So we can look at the full-time result, and then you can see straight away the away points per game for the away team. You can see the away team stats, because at the moment we're only filtering for the home team. So you might want to throw in some stats there for the away team. So let's do that now. And we'll just go through here and just look at some away stats. So we've got a game here in Denmark where it's second against 11th. But actually the away team has only lost 27% of games. So I'm guessing that they have drawn a lot of games. But this home team is pretty good. They've won 75% of games, as you can see. And as we go down here, well, here's one that we might want to skip. Whilst the home team here in Ukraine has performed well at home, they're playing top of the league, so it's probably not a game that we want to consider for a home victory. So we can see that the away teams won 82% of games. This is showing overall form, by the way. You can customize your stat scroller to show whichever stats you like. So just to add another stat in here, we go to the add button, and now we're going to look at the away team. So we click the away team at the top there, and there is hundreds of stats and thousands of combinations that you can make with these filters, as you'll see when you start to scroll down. But we're going to go on to lost percent here. So this is the percentage of games that they have lost, and we're going to look at the away stats. And we want teams that have lost, well, let's just say 40% or more, which will get rid of those really good teams. We can search, and it'll remove those teams that we were looking at then. So it's gotten rid of the Ukraine game, and this is the process with quick filters. Looking at the stats, looking at the teams that don't quite match, and you can see in the second column for the PPG now you've got mostly, in fact, all stronger home teams, apart from this this women's game in Spain where it's second against first, so it's still a tight game. And you can just keep doing this and repeating until you narrow down the fixtures that appeal to you for that day. Now, if you want to sort this, as I said before, it is currently sorted by kickoff time by default, which I think works if you do your research like me in a chronological order. I know everybody's different, so you do have the ability to sort it. And how you do that is you just click this little circle, so you'll see it says sort by under the filter rules section, and let's sort by points per game at home. So you click it and it turns green, and then you search again, and you can see at the top now where it says quick filter, you've got an indication that it is sorting by home points per game. So now we're looking at the best teams at home, where the away team has lost X percent of games, as per our filter rules. So this is all well and good, but the end game here is making money. So I'm guessing that, you know, some of the odds here, if we look at the odds, well, the odds are actually pretty good there. So I don't know if you can see this depending on the zoom, but we've got 1.65 for the first game, we've got 1.91 for the second game, 1.62. Then we've got 1.08. So I don't want to see that. I don't want to see those kind of odds, because they're not interesting to me. I'm not going to put 5 or 6 of these together to make an accumulator. I want to be betting on singles, maybe a couple of doubles, or looking into team goals if they're a very dominant side. So as I said before, going back to it, it's important to have markets in mind when using the quick filter, or it certainly helps anyway. We can see Bayern Munich here, 1.2. Again, not interested. So what we can then do is add another rule. And as I said before, there's different types of rules. You've got the home team, the away team, probability, and the odds. Now we're going to be adding a rule based around odds. And you can set minimums and maximums here on plenty of markets, but again, we're interested in a home win. So I don't want to see any odds that are below 1.4. So you can save that rule and you can do a search. And now the list changes again, and you can see that every single game, we can look at the odds here, is 1.4 or above. We've got 1.44 here, 1.53. And just based on these simple stats, this is a very good shortlist. If you like to do your research anyway by, let's say you go into here, you click into the game, and then you can check out the stats. And I'll do this for about 10-15 minutes per shortlist, or per filter. So you can see straight away this team here, they've won 7 out of 7 at home. They're playing a team that has won 29% of games away. Let's take a look at the overall form. So the away team isn't as bad as we might think. So it's always important to look into the stats, but obviously there's an inconsistency between their home performances and their away performances. They've won just 2 on the road. I'm just trying to dump what goes through my brain when I look at the stats here. I would then check out the last game where the away side actually beat them, and that was away from home as well. So I would just, this game is not for me in terms of a home win. So as you go through the games, you maybe notice trends. You might notice that some teams have scored fewer than others, and it'll lean into adding another rule to the quick filter. And we can do that now. Actually, let's just add another one, just to shore up the confidence and just refine the list. And then you're left with maybe 10, 15 games, maybe fewer. As I say, it's a Saturday, so you're gonna have many games anyway. There's gonna be a bit more digging to do here. So let's say for the away team, now to lose a game, you have to concede a goal. That is something Michael Owen would say on BT Sports. So let's look at conceded 0.5%. This means they have conceded a goal, and what is that percentage of conceding a goal? So again, away from home. Now let's go a little bit higher with this. Let's go, I don't really like to do full numbers. Everyone's different, but I'll just do 67%. Because obviously, as you play more games, the percentage isn't going to be 50%, 60%, 70%. It's going to be a bit more refined. So we'll save that rule, and let's now sort by that rule. So we're going to be seeing teams here, the away teams that have conceded a goal in the majority of games. So we can see we've got a game from Germany, we've got a game from England, we have a game, more games from England, Spain, and we can just go in and check out the stats again and see an odds comparison as well. It's all really quick to do. You can see that you get the best odds here on 1xBet, 1.67, 1.67, 1.5, 1.5. I'm just reading down the list. One that is still sticking around is the Spanish game in the Women's League in Spain. So as I said before, it's second against first, but the odds might mean it looks okay for a double chance or draw no bet or something. And if we look at the stats, they've won 88%. Oh, sorry, it was just updating. 80% of games. Look at overall form. It tells a bit of a different story, but I think it could be a tight game. And there you go. It's always important to come into the fixture and use the stat scrollers as a guide, of course. But if you look in here now, you can see that the recent form, they've taken a bit of a dip, whereas the away side, they've lost 2 all game, and that's why they're top of the league. So could be a bit of a gap if we look at the table. And this is combining all of those. This league is split, I think, as it looks like. Yeah. So that's how I do it. And as you can see, because it's a Saturday, we're still getting a decent number of games. So that's it. I would say there's about 40 games there, maybe a bit more. What I'll do is I'll share this list on Twitter today, Saturday. Obviously, this video is a bit more evergreen. You can check this out anytime and use it as a guide for quick filters. And then when you're done, let's say you are really happy with this filter and you think that it could be a very good filter for home wins or a very good shortlist. And this is going back to what I said at the start of the video. Quick filters is about creating shortlists for me, and I know everybody else uses it in different ways, and that's sort of the beauty of it. It's so flexible. you could just use it to sort for card stats and then combine that with the toggle here to show only the games that have card markets, and it'll do the job for you in terms of creating a shortlist for all the games that have card or corner markets on Bet365. So there's many ways to do it, and once you're happy that you've got a filter, a quick filter that will bring you a decent set of games every day, or one that you just want to save and come back to tomorrow when there's more games on or something, you can hit save, and let's call this home wins shortlist, and I will save that filter, and that's it. It's saved. I can access it tomorrow, the next day, whenever, and I can also come into quick filters and edit it. So when you've got your saved filters here, you can hit the edit button and it'll bring those settings into the quick filter, and you can chop and change and just reload the shortlist and the fixtures, and that's quick filters. It's really simple to use. There's thousands of combinations of rules and stats that you can add, and I'll just show you some of them again. So as I said, it's important to have a market, or it's beneficial to have a market in mind. So if you were looking at half with most goals, that's a popular market. Odds are usually over evens. You've got first half goal occurrences, you've got first half goals scored, conceded, average first goal time. You've actually got most goals occurrences, so you've got the amount of times that the most goals was in the second half per team, per location as well, so home, away, and overall. So there are 15-minute goal periods, goals after X minutes, average first goal time, as I said, and then you've got all the similar things for corners awarded, against. So you can create some really, really detailed filters, and as I often say in this game, you get out what you put in. So I mean, to take the time, this video has taken about 17 minutes, but the actual filter creation and viewing the games and doing a bit of research probably take you 10 minutes once you've got a market in mind. Maybe you like BTTS, so in that case you then look at goals conceded per team. Looking at the home form and the away form, you could actually just filter for BTTS percentage per team, home and away, etc. And then again, you've got the odds filter in as well, so you can only show games where BTTS is over 1.8 or whatever takes your fancy. So this has been a understanding OddAlerts video. It's a longer one. I wanted it to be. I just felt I don't think anybody is confused by quick filters. It's quite easy to use, but I just felt there was a gap in the educational content on the YouTube channel, where it wasn't properly introduced and explained. So hopefully this has filled that gap, and as always, I look forward to your feedback. I'm back at my office, shall we say, now, after visiting some family over the summer, so I'm planning out some new features and some exciting features as well, just to take OddAlerts to the next level again. So yeah, thank you for all your support in the past year and a bit, and yeah, it means a lot, and as always, I look forward to your feedback.